to kick the theme song off.
Whoa.
Sunday morning, rain is falling. Am I right?
Share some color, share some skill.
Welcome back. Chris, we have guests on the show today.
Yes.
This is the Hill Kings podcast, and we have experts
Ooh.
in
Yes.
the King of the Hill realm.
We have
I think we're
supreme
all
subject
wrong.
matter.
Yeah.
We have Rusty and Mike from the BWAA podcast, the
Wow.
King of the Hill podcast. Welcome, gentlemen, to
Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
our
We
little
really appreciate
shit show
that.
Yeah, thanks for
over
having
here.
us on. We appreciate it.
Here's what I've learned in the 3 years of doing this: talk over each other as often as you can.
Yes.
Overlapping
Great
dialogue.
Sure.
Oh,
That's what
great
it's all
content.
about.
Yeah,
I
love
just
people
spilled
know.
coffee all over myself too.
Heck
There you
yeah,
go.
It's
dude.
going well so far.
Well, that's like
Hey.
A, then B, then the next thing is you shit yourself. So it'd be great.
Exactly. Yes. And we did just hear about how
sorry.
Chris's baby, Good Hank, baby update, y'all.
Yeah.
GH.
For the fans listening, GH has not pooped in multiple days.
Mhm. Pray for us.
So
Well,
Chris let us know about that.
I'm going to go ahead and let
Pagame.
you know. I'm going to go ahead and let you know I'm at a certain age where I haven't pooped for a couple of days as well. So
We're also praying for you.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's hear some more about that. Let's go into that in
solid-
great
regular.
detail.
Well,
I keep a lot of fiber in my
I
diet.
have solidarity with your baby, and I'm hoping to start a club of some kind.
Yes.
We're all about baby solidarity on this show.
Chime into the
Single-
comment section
I don't know if you guys are into
Please.
baby
if
solidarity.
you haven't shit.
Oh, they're protests are so cute.
Mhm.
The cutest
Look what I got.
protests. Tell us a little bit about yourself, fellas. How long has the podcast been going on?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is the whole deal with it?
The whole deal. Well, to start off, I asked you questions like that when we were off the air. I was like, "Hey, so what do you do?" And then, I mean, that could be taken any way,
Mhm.
Plus, we'd already met, so that was a real gaffe on my part. So we've been doing this podcast for what? 3 years?
We've been doing it for almost 3
Yeah,
years. I
almost
think
3
our
years.
first episode released at the very end of 2021, the beginning of 2022.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. What was that? What just happened?
I don't know, I said something
Okay.
about battery or something.
Oh,
I think-
shit.
I think we're good.
Well, if it goes down, it goes down.
Yeehaw.
We'll rejoin you guys. Yeah, we've been doing it for almost 3 years. I know we've been doing it at 3 different locations.
Yeah, we're in our third
this is
location
our-
right now.
We're in a fourth
Nice.
location for the studio itself, but
Third location that we've
location
been
for the
recording.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that voluntary, or are you guys getting like kicked out?
Most
are you
of it is-
recording in
most-
places without
Mhm.
consent? What's
Yeah,
the
you're
situation there?
trespassing,
Yeah.
loitering, squatting
Well,
in studios.
it used to be the mop closet at 7-Eleven. And then I don't know if you guys remember when all the 7-Elevens left
That's
Texas.
good
they all
audio.
they all became Circle Ks. And then Circle K didn't
Mhm.
want anything to do with us. So we ended up moving in the back of a nail salon, which a lot like what's his face from Breaking Bad. And then now we're in a high-rise building. So, the normal way it works.
I was going to say, it's a
a
nice day
Wow.
behind you.
7-Eleven,
Yeah.
Circle K, nail salon, high-rise building.
We're in
That's how it works.
it's like a historical building in town. It's like the oldest, tallest, not oldest, but like the tallest old building in town. It used to be the
interesting.
tallest skyscraper this side of the Mississippi when it was built. So
That's what
there
they
was,
called me in
Wow.
high
it's
school.
the
what they-
Western skyscraper, the first one.
That's what they called me in high school too. The tallest, oldest.
That's really good.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll be here all week. Try the tune.
What town are you guys in again?
We're in Waco, Texas. WACO.
Cool. Nice.
The home of
Yeah.
We've got real Texans on the show,
Uh-huh,
Chris.
uh-huh.
Chris
Real
is
Texans
an
alert.
Oklahoman, and I
Ooh.
am unfortunately
Also
Canadian
Oklahoman.
You're,
for
Oh,
all
are
of
you
you.
are you
Yeah.
in Canada now?
No, I am in Oregon.
Okay. All right. So
So
you're
He's
very
also
you're
in the
Canada
broom
Light.
closet of a
Texas.
7-Eleven.
you're
Yes.
you're
This is the
Canadian
nicest
adjacent.
7-Eleven in
Yeah.
Oregon.
You're in
Yeah.
Canada Lights, Oregon.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Diet Canada.
Well, that's great. That's great. We got a lot of people around here from either the Oregon or Portland type regions.
Oh yeah,
The guy who owns us is from Portland.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and I mean personally, not the business.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Your owner.
I was.
I just need a plan. That's all. And so if that helps, then that's great.
I was just in Texas last week. I was in the Dallas Fort Worth area over in the Colony.
Kind
of you were in the Colony.
Yeah, down there doing some work.
Fancy. Little fancy schmancy.
Very fancy.
Wow.
Funny place. Funny place.
Yeah, your ice cream costs $12 and there's nowhere to park.
Exactly.
The Colony, come see us.
Any fans from the Colony, chime in.
They can't listen to this. They have very bespoke radios and things like that there.
Oh no, our listenership is very high class. You see the suits, we dress up. Yes, yeah.
Well, that was something I was really impressed with when both of you came on the Zoom. I got one that's dressed like the captain from Captain at Tennille, and then the other one, the one that's in Canada. He wearing a nice little sports jacket. He's got a beautiful background. I mean, you guys look the part.
Had Bob's Burgers on the TV.
I love the CRT thing. Yeah. I'm a collector myself. I have like 6 or 7 CRT TVs.
Heck yeah!
I only watch TV on a CRT.
A man after my own.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I think we've established a rapport here.
Yeah,
yes, we have. Yeah. All right, let's go, man. Let's do some.
We are here.
Let's do
to
it.
talk about season 2, episode 10, Bobby Slam of King of the Hill, everyone's favorite '90s cartoon. But you know what we got to do before that, Chris? You know what we got to do.
Back in time,
everyone's favorite segment this week in Arlen. This episode, of course, as you guys know, as King of the Hill professionals, aired on December 14th, 1997. Of course, this is the segment of the show where I, Brad, go into depth on what was going on in the world around town during the week that this episode aired. December 14th, 1997. What do you think that you guys were doing?
Yeah, leading up to Christmas. Where are you guys at in 1997, Christmas time?
1997 Christmas time, 7 years old, praying and hoping for a Game Boy. I think probably at that time.
Ooh.
I think Gen 2 Pokemon, Gold and Silver, was probably getting ready to come out around that time.
Pokemon has come up on this segment multiple times.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I was waiting on in 97. Actually, no, sorry, I take that back. It was a PlayStation 1 is what we got for Christmas.
Ooh,
we got a lot of shared gifts. And we got a PlayStation 1 that year. So
with the pop-up lid for the disc, man, that was so nice.
Where were you at, Mike? Christmas 1997.
December 14th, 1997. I had one kit already.
Okay.
It wasn't mine, so I had to return it. But I think I was working. Shit, this was 5 years before. So I was working as the manager of an IT department. That's what I was doing. Yeah.
Mr. IT.
I was on my second marriage, which would come to an end soon. And then the next thing I remember from 97 would be 2001 when something happened. Yeah.
When the towers got hit.
Yeah, that was about it. I think I blacked out between 97 and 2001.
Which fun fact.
So there was kind of a 4-year blank spot there, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's not the only one, but sure, yeah.
Fun fact, the episode that we're actually on is the last episode that airs before September 11th happens.
Oh, yeah, that's the one we're covering this week.
That's the one that we're covering.
Yeah.
Big one.
Oh, interesting.
Big one in the news. Can't wait until I get to that one for this week in Arlen.
The post 9/11.
Spicy.
Hey,
spicy.
By the way, guys, I don't know that we said this, but thank you so much for having us on your show, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, appreciate it. I was
we're excited to have you.
For the listeners, we have brought up these fellas in the past because I did guest on the show a few months back. Chris had other priorities, I guess. What was your excuse again?
9/11.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Fantastic.
No, his child was being born at the time.
Blame it on the Saudis.
Is that when your baby was being born during that show?
Yeah, whenever I wasn't on, whenever Brad guested, we were in the hospital.
We I don't know how much this has to do with this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. We have a show here on the network that is about a doula, right?
Interesting.
Which I'm still not 100% sure what a doula does, other than like cheerleader,
a doula oblongata
in the thing. But anyway, when she first started her show, we sent a recorder in with her, and she recorded the entire birth.
Whoa, that's wild.
We used that as an episode. So I'm just saying, I think you had a missed opportunity there.
Well, speaking of doulas, there is going to be some nice dually in this episode later.
Oh my
We
god.
get a dually line.
That's that's the type of jokes
Nice.
you get on this show. Let's get into the segment. How about
great transition?
We always like to start off with a peek at the TV guide. Just kind of like give it a little rundown. A running joke on the show is that I am just trying to turn it into a Simpsons podcast because I'm a huge Simpsons fan. But we have a repeat this week, so I won't bore you. But speaking of 9/11, there is a very classic Simpsons did it on the city of New York City versus Homer Simpson.
Oh, really?
There's like a newspaper that he holds up that has the two towers on it and the number 9.
Oh, man.
Oh, is this one of them? Oh, this is one of those Simpsons did it.
A classic Simpsons did it. Anything standing out here on this night of television to you guys?
I mean, the Flintstones is on up top on ABC.
I guess what would stand out to me would be on the Fox thing there. I would watch The World's Funniest, The Simpsons, King of the Hill. Then the X-Files would come on, and the theme song to X-Files used to give me deep anxiety. So that's the time I would either leave the room. Yeah, like,
you just run to bed.
Me too. I was scared of it.
Gave me a deep.
You were scared of the song?
I wasn't really scared of it. It just gave me anxiety. It gave me like a weird anxiety. Like I felt uncomfortable by the noise that the soundtrack made. So I would leave the room usually if that's what my parents were watching, and that's when I'd go read a book or play video games or something.
I just want to comment on ABC's selection for the ABC Sunday night movie, Holiday in Your Heart. I don't know if you guys remember that movie.
I don't know that
LeAnn Rimes, right?
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's the true story of LeAnn Rimes.
Are you for real?
I looked it up actually.
Did you really?
Oh my God.
Oh wow, that's funny.
True story of LeAnn Rimes. I was born. Then I started singing.
She was only like 15 in 97 though, wasn't she?
I don't know. It might have not been LeAnn Rimes. I'll fact check
that. She was really young
when
when she
the
started.
episode comes
She was
around.
famous when she was like 14. It was that Joel.
But I did look it up. Yeah.
Like
it was this guy who owned a Christmas tree farm. His name is Jeff Rimes. That's what it was. It wasn't LeAnn.
Yeah.
It's her
and
uncle.
he had a daughter.
So X-Files, just real quick, I'm gonna tell you my only claim to fame with X-Files is went to a concert in Austin at a place called the Black Cat to see a band called the Flame Trick Subs who do our theme. And right before the place burned down, we went to the last concert there. And who I met there was a guy all blue, tattooed with puzzle pieces all over his face and all over his body, honestly. His name was the Enigma, and he was featured on the X-Files in a couple episodes.
Oh,
wow.
That's
interesting.
Cool.
So there you go.
I will find a picture of him and put it up on the screen.
Yeah, you should.
And you're saying the club burnt down shortly after the Enigma was in there?
The club burnt down like it was about a week later.
Yeah. I wonder if it was an Enigma or not.
Enigma related.
They're all tatted up, yeah.
Enigma, yeah.
I will say the WB is continuing again with the All Right Already show and their really rough titles
again
at the
with
end
the
there.
sexual harassment. Yeah, it's been kind of a string of that show having questionable titles for their episodes.
Their titles are always like again with the marital issues, and you're like, oh, what is
again with 9/11?
This is the WB. Shout out to Flintstones, though.
This is about the time I think that All Right Already solved racism, right? Isn't that about when this happened?
Yes, and they're about to solve sexual harassment with this one.
That's right.
So. Sexual harassment.
Well, move on to the next problem.
Crazy that show doesn't get more credit. Wow.
It got a 1.9, by the way.
All Right Already.
It got a 1.9. That means 3 guys in Omaha watched it.
Yep, and they loved it.
Yeah.
Moving on, Scream 2 came out in theaters this Friday.
Oh, wow. Campbell.
My favorite Scream. I think the best of the Scream franchise, in my opinion.
My favorite Scream is from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. But Scream, my friend's sister, she was a big Nev Campbell fan. She had like Nev Campbell posters on her walls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was a big Nev Campbell fan.
Is that the end of the story?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That was it.
Shout out Nev.
Shout out to Nev.
Shout out Jada Pinkett Smith. Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth style.
The woman that helped her come out of the closet and realize she was gay. So shout out.
Okay, yeah.
Shout out to Nev Campbell. For
I feel like there's a couple.
Fox.
I feel like that's not a similar and unheard of story as Nev Campbell turning ladies.
Sure.
I mean she made me feel stuff when I was a kid. So 100%. Did Courtney Cox.
Oh. Have you seen her face now?
Nowadays it's
what happened, lady? Why would you do that?
Jennifer
Friends.
Aniston still takes the cake. She's like 50 and she still looks like she did in like the first season of Friends.
Nice.
She has come up on the pod several
You guys are
times.
hitting our bingo. You've already talked
Yeah.
about Pokemon. You've talked about Jennifer Aniston.
Hey, it's the 1990s, man. I'm a kid of the
Yeah,
90s
baby.
myself.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Welcome
he
to
raised
the-
We
90s
love
kids,
the
I am a 90s
Rachel.
kid, so
We all
Jennifer
had the
can-
Rachel in the 90s, right?
Jennifer can do whatever she wants.
Oh yeah, the headlights always on thing. Like I saw an article about that. It was funny because she had just recently posted a picture on Instagram, and then there was an article that was talking about how you could see her nipples in like every episode of Friends.
Mhm.
Yep, that's why I love Friends.
And that's what they talked about on the WB.
Home Alone
And
3.
Home Alone 3 came out this week. Coming up on
Disappointment.
Christmas. Who the fuck is this kid? Where the
Look
fuck
at
is
his
Macaulay
face.
Culkin?
He doesn't even
That's
look
what
like
I
he's
was
excited
thinking
to
when
be a
this
part of
came
the
out.
movie.
Look at
He
his
looks like
face.
his face.
I'm
looks
here.
Like, Home Alone 3, it's
Well, he
okay.
look-
I guess.
Yeah.
Before we started this, and I asked you what your deal was, you said it's a living. Look at his face and repeat that.
It's very
phrase.
much
It's a
it's
living.
That's
Yeah.
a living.
Yeah.
It kind of gives me like, I'm sorry that I'm not Macaulay Culkin, but
Yeah.
you get what you get.
Yeah,
Vibes.
very apologetic face, like facial structure there. You know,
I
little
thought this
smirk.
was a dog food commercial. Yeah,
Also,
that
very,
kind of thing.
very 90s to just continue to do the franchise with a whole
Oh,
completely
absolutely.
different.
Yeah, just replace the kid.
I haven't seen this, so I'm sure it's like
God, we don't
separate
do
from
that
his
anymore.
family. But look how evil the villains in this one look too.
Yeah, they stepped it
Yeah.
up with the.
It's like a mob. Instead of just
Yeah.
fighting two homeless dudes,
Well, they
he's now
killed
the
fighting
kid.
like four
Yeah.
organized criminals.
Yeah, they actually slit his throat at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
kid
they
from
look
Home
like they
Alone
have
3?
silencers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good.
why he looks
That's
like
all I'm
that.
gonna
That's
say,
actually
good.
the look of fear of death in his eyes.
He says,
That's
"What are you
crazy.
gonna do?
Because they
He's
do.
like, I'm bleeding out.
Who is that again? What
I don't
child
know.
actor is
No
this?"
one knows. No one's ever
Nobody
heard from him
knows.
again.
This guy sells
Moving
insurance at
on.
this point. Hey, I know her.
We've talked about this a lot. Candle in the Wind has been the #1 song in the country for fucking half the year, guys.
Sure,
Mhm.
sure.
And it's
Actually,
still #1 in December.
And think about this just real quick. Sorry, Rusty, I
No,
didn't
you're
mean to
good.
step on you, but think about this. That's a song that he just retreaded.
Yeah, he did. It was a retread.
You know, it was
Mhm.
when you
Yeah.
think about this song, nobody ever brings up the fact that it was a song already, and he just redid it for this.
He just changed
for
the
a dead
name.
lady.
Yeah, he changed the name because he was personal friends with her. This was actually I'm British national, so I was.
You can hear it, can't you?
You can hear it. Yeah.
In
You can tell in my voice. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night with my mom and sitting there and watching the entire funeral run of Princess
Oh,
Diana.
It was a
Yeah.
big deal.
I thought
It's
you were about to
huge.
say you woke up in the night because you could feel it. Like you just
I could feel it. Yeah, I was like
He
sweating.
knew.
out.
Talk about it.
I was
He
like
knew what happened. Princess
people
Diana
screaming
and
her
her
name and
lover.
reaching for the ceiling. Diana, no.
the people's princess.
Well, anyway, if you were around and had the radio on at this time, you were probably hearing this bop. #2 song in the country was also an Elton John song that was like the B-side of this song. So Elton was killing it at this
The
time.
#2 song was a B-side of Candle in the Wind.
Yes.
Wow.
Shout
It
out
was
to
the-
Elton. Jeez.
Well, the thing they don't mention is it was for the paparazzi.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was really weird. It was like, the Diana song on one side, the paparazzi song on the other side. Hey, all these can't be jewels, gentlemen. So
No, that's
there
good.
goes.
No, that was gold.
That's a finer. The paparazzi bit is a finer point of the Princess Diana story that I don't think we really explained on this podcast, and our younger listeners are going to be
Yeah,
like,
we
"What
should-
the hell are
let's-
they
let's-
Yeah, they
talking
know
about?"
all about
No,
it.
let's
spend
leave
about
them.
45 minutes and let's go
Yeah.
into that.
Let's leave them in the
This is
dark.
now the Princess Diana show.
Go listen to the
confirmed.
Princess Diana
Figure out.
podcast about it.
Yeah.
Our sister pod.
It was also a pretty big night in Phoenix. I don't know how tuned in you guys are to records for the Phoenix Coyotes, the now defunct NHL franchise, but Mike
The
Gardner
Utah
scored a
Coyotes,
700.
thank you very much.
Yes, now going to be the Salt Lake City Soakers. I
Is that what they
believe
are?
is what they-
the Super Soakers,
Soakers?
actually.
The
Salt Lake
the
City
Stormin'
Soakers, that's
Mormon.
a good joke. That's good. That's funny.
I wish they would just embrace their Mormonism as far as naming these
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
Because
The
there is no
elders.
jazz. There's zero jazz in Utah. #1. There's
That's
none.
very
It should be the
true.
Utah
can't-
Bumblebees.
You can't find
Mhm.
jazz, and I have never seen a wider audience. I mean, that is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
widest audience there is. Just embrace it, guys.
I don't know why they don't lean into
the
like
magic
high
underwear
thing.
or something.
they have,
like
Yeah,
that.
do you think they're going to
both
make them wear
sides.
it under the uniforms?
Yes, I
unders?
do. I absolutely
the
do.
Mormon underpants.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, I mean, you got to wear it if you're running for president. Certainly, you got to wear it if you're playing hockey.
Mhm,
Yeah.
If you're
It's a good point.
Getting your teeth knocked out. Yeah.
For the
But
Lord.
it was a big night in Phoenix on this night. 700 goals, nothing to scoff at, bud. Get
There
a
you
little
go. That's a lot of
Canadian in
scores.
there.
Yeah.
It's a lot in
It
one
was
night.
also James Comey's 37th birthday.
Whoa.
God.
Wow.
I bet
In
he looked
97.
37 when he was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is this
for
an
sure.
image from that era? Is this like
No.
a
No, this
series
is
of pictures?
this is I believe from the testimony that he did
Yeah, the
recently
recent-
in
the
the
recent
Oh, so
testimony.
that's kind of recent. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can see
couldn't
the
find a
bags
picture of
underneath
him.
his eyes. Need somebody to
This
carry
is
him.
from his defamation trial.
Yeah.
His defamation trial.
I actually modeled my suit after him.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
big
okay.
Comey
Yeah, I
fans
could tell.
over
It's
Yeah,
here.
an original-
cosplay.
it's an
Comey
James
and-
Comey cosplay.
Comey inspired.
The Comey cast. The
Comey-
Lakers
Comey
also
over.
rocked the Mavericks. Shout out
Oh,
Texas.
yeah.
Kobe
Yeah.
dropped 30 on them.
We got
Good.
we got a real big Mavs fan
No,
here.
no, not at all. Not at all. Big Spurs fan, so I'm glad to see the Mavs
Ah,
lose, even if we have to
nice.
go back in time to see it.
Yep.
Victor Wembanyama.
You got it, baby.
My boy
But
D
big
Fish
night
putting up some
for the
respectable
Lakers.
numbers.
It was
Derek
still
Fisher, is that who you're
Chicagoland.
talking about?
Yeah, I'm a Thunder
Derek
player. I like,
Fisher was 7-7-5.
Oh,
That's
man.
We
pretty
got-
good.
Dang,
we had
Kobe
Derek
put up
Fisher at
30?
the end of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was around the time where Kobe started to really pick it up. Obviously, it was still the Bulls league in '97,
Yeah, sure.
but
Sure.
coming
sure.
up on the Kobe Shaq
I have-
dominance, you know.
I've always hated the Lakers. Will always hate the Lakers. Never
As a
been
Spurs
big
fan, I feel like you have to hate the Lakers.
Well, it's just the attitude. I just don't like it.
yeah, I
They
understand.
need a good talking to.
Yeah, we're Oklahoma City and Toronto guys.
Mhm.
Ah, there you go.
Exciting,
So you-
exciting stuff right
So
now.
you got
Yeah.
you got the Red of Kawhi,
Mhm.
and then you've got the
Yeah.
the Southern Sonics. So that's good.
No, I root for all Texas teams. I don't really watch any of the basketball or anything like that, but I'll root for all Texas teams. But it's the Dallas Stars and the Houston Texans. Those are my
Oh
two.
yeah, I used to be a Dallas Stars season ticket holder, baby.
Oh,
Mike
yeah?
Modano, yeah.
Mike Modano, I've got a jersey in the closet. Marty Turco.
We had we had a minor league hockey team here in Waco
Yeah, we
at one
did.
time called the Waco Wizards, right?
That's
Which
amazing.
great name,
Nice.
good alliteration, good stuff.
Waco
but at the-
Wizards.
Waco Wizards. At the time, I was with that IT company, right? And so we were a big sponsor. So I got to go out on the ice and shoot the T-shirt cannon every game.
Oh hell yeah,
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
that's
yeah.
a dream
That's
of
so
mine.
dope.
That is
Yeah,
a
that's
bucket
a-
list.
Did
That
you
is
target-
a bucket list. You're exactly
Did
right.
you target people with it?
Oh,
Like,
Mhm.
try to,
Try to like
Yeah.
peg a kid in the head.
hit him
with
right in
it.
his neck.
Here's a free shirt, old lady.
That adds back to the Simpsons. That's how Maud Flanders died.
There it
Yeah,
is.
exactly. She got blown off the top of
This
the.
is
Yeah,
bleachers,
hit with
yeah.
a T-shirt cannon and fell out of the stadium.
all of it's so serendipitous.
Wrapping it up here, this night was the premiere of
Mhm.
Titanic at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles.
You know,
Yeah. Ramen.
not to interrupt you, but it's kind of crazy you mentioned the Titanic premiere because rest in peace to the captain, the
Oh, that's
actor who
right.
plays the
He just
captain,
died.
just passed away this morning. I think it was
Oh,
today or
really?
last night. But
No
they announced
way.
his death this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah,
that?
Ironic part of it. He drowned.
Who is that? I haven't.
I can't think of his name. He was
Oh,
he
God.
was also in Lord of the Rings too. He was in Lord of the Rings as the
Ian
Gandalf's cousin.
McKellen.
No, I can't remember
Yeah,
what.
was he in
Bernard Hill.
Nah, yeah,
Bernard Hill.
Hill.
You
His
looked it up,
name.
Chris?
Wait, his last
I
name was
did.
Hill?
Yes,
Oh.
Bernard Hill.
Oh,
Whoa,
Yes, he- I'd pay
whoa,
Like,
dude.
It's like we're in
we're Inception right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, we're in the
There's
middle of
layers.
Oh,
Layers.
wow. I didn't know
We're
this.
in
Yeah,
the
he
middle
plays.
of an onion right now.
Yeah, he's Theoden from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Holy
Theoden. I can't
shit.
remember his name. Yeah, he's like the guy that's like gives this super inspirational speech before they like charge off into battle. Yeah.
Mhm. Ride,
Shout
ride to
out.
your ruin, and the world's
yeah.
ending.
There's four of us here. Who has seen Lord of the Rings? All of them? Raise
Oh,
your
I've
hand.
seen it
Yes.
probably 15 times,
Yeah,
and the extended
yeah,
version
yeah,
at least
too.
4.
I have seen
Yeah.
it 0 times.
Really?
I have never seen Lord of the Rings.
I really thought you had seen it because I've never
Whoa.
seen it.
Nah, I've not seen
You
Lord of
guys
the
have
Rings.
both never seen Lord of
So,
the Rings.
I like
Well,
weird stuff.
here's the
It's
thing.
not weird enough for me.
Cut the
It's like
stream. Cut the stream.
Lord of
I
the
like weird
Rings.
stuff.
Lord of the Rings for me is a 10-minute at a time watch because my wife has it on in the background. That's what Lord of the
Gotcha.
Rings is. For me.
If it was
That,
fully
Harry
animated,
Potter, all of those. I don't know. I could never do
I like
it.
animation. So if it's
Wow.
fully animated, I probably would have watched it. Like I watched nothing but cartoons. So if it was a
Now,
There is an
cartoon, I probably
animated
would've seen it.
version of The
Yes.
Hobbit from
There's
Ralph
I've seen
old
The
school
Hobbit. I've
animated
seen
ones.
that. We watched that in school with the book. We did the book.
Bakshi.
Yeah.
Ralph Bakshi did that, and same guy who did Fritz the Cat.
Yeah.
But he did a Lord of the
Oh.
Rings and the Hobbit.
Well,
Mhm.
I don't know about the Lord of the Rings animated one, but for sure the Hobbit one. We did the book movie comparison in high school, so I remember that one.
He
Hell
just
yeah.
held them up in front of people. And
That was
said,
it.
Look,
Just
this
say,
a
is
book,
this
a
this
movie."
one similar?
This is a book, kids.
This is a book, kids.
Words,
VHS.
pictures.
Highly recommend Lord of the Rings and highly recommend
That's really
me
going
moving
just-
on.
Yeah.
We
That's
just
going out
skipped,
on a limb
this
there.
segment.
Really highly recommend
I'll have to
just
watch it
skipped
now
over
where
the
it's,
Titanic.
Well, it premiered. That's all we got to know, right?
Yeah, you
It's
folks
huge.
know
Leo
Huge.
was there.
hmm
Fucking Celine Dion was there.
You could see a
Canadian
booby
legend.
if you were a young lad in that movie.
A booby, yeah.
You could see a booby.
I remember seeing that movie in the drive-in theater
Ooh.
Yeah.
in
I don't remember seeing
Bathurst,
that
New
movie until it
Brunswick.
came out on double VHS.
Harder
Oh,
to
the
hide your
double
boner.
VHS.
at
The
a-
double
at a drive-in.
VHS.
And it would always
Well, if you're
piss
in
me
the
off.
back seat, you got a blanket, you know.
I'm just
You
saying,
can bone out.
chances are, like, it's 97. So how old were you guys?
I would have been 6.
I would have been
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
to turn 4.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was
that was
7.
that was unneeded sexual innuendo for a child. Then I didn't mean to
Yeah.
say that a 6-year-old had a boner in the backseat.
Yeah.
You never know, right?
I
They're
didn't
gonna
actually
come out of
view it
nowhere.
until much later.
You flowered young. You were.
Yes, I am a
To
blossoming
Leonardo
little boy.
DiCaprio.
Leo on my Nardos. Should we get into the episode, Chris?
Yes, please. Because we
Alright,
still got a
let's do
lot
it.
to talk about. There's a lot of good 90s stuff still going on here, folks. But yeah, season 2, episode 10, Bobby Slam. Your blurb for this episode is Bobby joins the wrestling team, is caught in a dilemma when he has to fight Connie in order to make the team.
Wow,
This one is directed by Wes Archer, of course, and is also directed by Chris Muller, who is involved in a good number of King of the Hell episodes, but this is also the guy who created Tripping the Rift. Do you guys remember that show from the late 90s to 2000s or early 2000s?
I remember when he played for the Golden State Warriors.
Ah,
Chris Muller. Yeah.
yeah.
Great.
Brad, do you remember Tripping the Rift at all?
I have no idea what that is.
Oh man, Tripping the Rift was kind of like a proto Futurama, kind of like takes place in space. It's real kind of like semi smutty. It's got a cast of different alien characters. You would recognize the visuals if you pulled it up, I bet. But it's like,
who did it?
Chris Muller's in it, a couple other big actors in it, notably
I remember the
Stephen
name.
Root.
Stephen Root was in it.
Stephen Root plays the
Okay.
main alien, Chode. He's the main alien's name is Chode. He's got
What?
3 eyes. Brad, put a picture up on the screen. Here
Oh,
at this
there will
point.
be multiple
Yeah.
photos on the screen.
Mhm. You'll remember it
This
when you
looks
see it.
insane. There's so many boobies and
Yeah, there's a 3-boobed
An
lady and a
alien.
lizard. Yeah, you'll remember when you see it. But Maurice
insane.
LaMarche is also in this show, and he's voiced a couple
Shout
actors
out.
on King of the Hill. Yeah.
Shout out.
So yeah, he's directing that. Chris Muller, shout out to Tripping the Rift. Written, of course, by Judge Daniels. And then writer on this one is going to be a viewers, listeners, we're back from our technical difficulty,
guys.
and we're chatting about a show called Fish
Yes.
Police.
We are recording again. Sorry about that, y'all.
Fish cops.
Don
yeah,
Knotts.
check out-
Don Knotts is a voice on this
Yep,
show.
he is. It was like I
This
said,
is nuts.
voice cast. It was an all-star
Don's
voice
nuts.
cast.
Dom's nuts. You got it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Fish Police.
Fish
Yeah,
Police.
check out Tripping the Rift. Check out Fish Police. A writer on this episode, back into it, Gina Fattore. Gina Fattore wrote on Californication.
Yeah,
She
That's a
also
good
wrote on Gilmore Girls
great show.
as well. So that's
That's a
your
good show. They
writer.
just talk too fast.
Stars Hollow forever, baby.
Yeah. They do talk really fast. That's
They
kind
have
of
to have the most words per
I
minute
love
of a
that stuff.
sitcom.
I love that
Mhm.
40s kind of feel. Like, what's
Yeah.
up, buddy? I don't know, Kyle. Where you going, buddy?
Yeah.
Have you
You know, that
watched
kind of-
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel then?
I have not. No, I've
Oh.
heard that it's
I haven't
about the
either.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's good. Shout out.
Yeah, I
But
should
yeah,
watch
let's get into the episode.
Let's start the episode.
Yes, this one opens up.
Sorry.
Finally, nephews. No, it's been good. We got a lot done here.
Finally, nephews.
Yes,
Oh,
we call them
that's our
nephews.
because the only person who listens to this show is Chris's 6-year-old nephew.
Oh, yeah.
5, 6. I don't know.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Ben.
Shout out Ben.
Just in time to get a boner. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't watch Titanic, Ben.
Nothing
Don't.
better than a great callback, though, guys. Come
Kyle, don't let him watch Titanic.
on. Mm.
Excellent. Shout
So
out
good.
Ben.
Yes.
Hey, Ben.
So
Do your
this
homework.
this episode opens up with Bobby and Connie playing a pro wrestling video game. Very fun. Mrs. Supanusampone calls and asks if Connie is over there and doing her homework, and Peggy makes a fun joke to herself and says that they're wrestling with some word problems. Very fun. She's just like,
wordplay.
oh, Peggy. But professional wrestling is going to kind of be one of the main themes of this episode here. We get the origin of a meme right here in the beginning of the episode. Did you guys catch this, for you King of the Hill meme heads? In the
No.
beginning scene, where Bobby holds the sign up to the window and Connie responds with
Oh,
the
yeah.
computer
Those
monitor.
kids wish they could read. Yeah, those kids could read meme. Yeah.
Oh no,
Wait,
that's a different episode. This is Bobby and Connie doing it.
Okay.
There's multiple Bobby holding up sign memes.
There's the one where if those kids could read, they'd be very upset one, and then
Yeah.
there's the one where Bobby will. I'll send you guys an example later on.
Yeah,
It's
I'll put it up on the screen.
yeah, there's a little meme origin alert there, but yeah, they're playing video games. They have to get separated. Peggy gets woken up at 5:40 in the morning with an urgent
emergency
call,
substitute teacher call.
emergency
Mhm.
sub
So
call.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I've been on the end of that call.
Mhm.
Were you
I've
a
gotten those
sub?
calls. I was a sub for a couple of
too.
years. Yeah.
I
Really?
used to sub as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get
I'm
those
a
calls.
dom.
You that's good stuff.
Oh God.
Very nice. Man, you threw me off, and that's hard to do. That's great. You would get those calls at like 5 a.m. and they're like,
Yeah.
Mrs. Johnson killed herself last night. Could you come sub on this class or whatever? I went
She
into
finally
one
did
time.
it.
Did she leave a note
I went in one
for the
time,
class?
and
For the class.
I was called one time by this. It's like a, I don't know, whatever you call those schools that don't have to be like other schools.
Mhm.
And so
Charter.
there you go. See, you knew what I was saying.
I used to
Um,
teach at one. They're the
yeah.
worst.
They really are. I went in and it was 5th grade. And so they didn't change rooms, like they were in that room the whole day kind
Mhm.
of thing. And so I went in and they just told me, okay, you need to get in there. Don't care what you teach today, because their teacher left screaming. So apparently she had a breakdown of some kind.
Oh wow.
Oh, my.
Common.
Yeah,
Left
common.
just screaming, and there was just papers everywhere, all over the desk, crap piled in corners, all kinds of stuff. So this wasn't like a slow break. This wasn't a fast break. She was slowly breaking over time here, and then
Yeah.
It
finally
was
she
a
just
scene
walked
of
out.
the crime.
I stuck with those kids for the rest of the year. And
Good for you.
because it was no, it was just a job. But because
I don't
it was
care about those kids.
I don't care about those kids. But because it was a charter school, or whatever you call it, was in an old grocery store, and their playground was the alley. So
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's wild.
Those kids
That's crazy.
they were super prepared for the future.
Hell
And
yeah.
you just put on Titanic and said, "Hey, we're gonna."
You got it.
learn about
Harmony.
your
This is a
bodies
movie. This is a book.
First one. That's right.
Yeah.
This is a movie. This is a book. This is Titanic. Sit down.
Yeah. Peggy's going to get called in to sub for girls gym. She asks if they left a lesson plan, and the person on the phone says, we kind of forgot to hire a girls
There
gym
it
teacher.
is.
Yeah. I
Very
love that Hank, when he finds out about it in the morning, just completely disregards it. He like
Mhm.
gets excited. He's like, "That's a real class." And
Where
then
are you
finds out it's
stationed at
girls'
today?
gym.
was like,
Yeah.
oh, do I have any clean shirts? The whole women's sports not being important punchline to this episode is very, very 90s sitcom yeah, this is not the first time we've seen this type of storyline. But yeah, Peggy's getting called in to do women's gym. Hank does not care once he finds out it's girls' gym. They're starting their gym class with like a presentation of what sports they should do.
Yeah, was
which
this
was
a
a little
thing for
weird.
you guys
What's up?
in school? Like having to like choose which sport you do in gym? This was completely
Nah.
foreign to me.
There wasn't
Yeah.
nothing like that for PE class for us because I didn't really do like athletics. So just regular PE was you're either going to walk or you're going to run or you're going to do whatever the chosen activity is. So
Yeah.
if the activity that day was basketball, whether you played basketball or
Yeah.
not, you're playing basketball that day.
Yeah.
Or whatever the activity was.
The only reference I have for that is I did sub for gym one time,
Okay.
and we just played with the parachute for a while. You know, the
Yeah, that
parachute that,
sounds
everybody
fun.
would grab
Yeah.
and go up, and then go underneath, and go
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And then you had those
We
little
did that,
things
like,
with the
kindergarten,
wheels where you
Ooh,
run
yeah.
over people's fingers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Remember those?
Those little
yeah,
scooty
yeah.
boards.
Around.
Hell yeah.
I think that was American Universal. I think anybody that went to like an American public school.
Oh, we had those
has-
in Canada too.
Oh, y'all had that in Canada?
Yeah,
Well,
we played a lot of floor hockey and curling too, bud.
yeah, we didn't have that.
Curling, human
We didn't have
curling.
none of that.
Well, in the gym here, the kids are going to be given options of what sports they want to do. The basketball coach thinks you should try basketball because you get to bounce a ball. The wrestling
Bounce a ball in
coach,
hockey, that's a mandatory drug test
That's
right
right.
there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thought that was pretty funny.
A good one. Good job.
The wrestling coach says essentially that everybody makes the team and you get to wear a jacket.
And Bobby's excited about the silver piping. On
He's
this
like, "Ooh,
jacket,
silver
which is
piping."
so funny.
Yeah.
Fashion maven.
So we cut over to the mat and they're passing out, the headgear, the ear pads, and the coach is going to do a demonstration and he asks the kid to come up and go at him. And then he just absolutely blocks this kid and then kind of goes into this rage mode. And he says, that'll teach you to pull a knife on me.
Yeah, seems to have a bit of trauma there.
To this kid. And the kid's like, what? He's like, what are you hopping around for, Hoppy?
Hopping around Hoppy.
It's very funny. The coach just has that. Yeah, speaks like this the entire time.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
not-
who's the voice actor for the coach here?
Oh man, I didn't look that up.
Wow.
Oh
What?
no.
Wow, Chris.
The guy that played
I know. Yeah.
What was
they
it?
didn't.
What was the coach's name?
Oh gosh, I don't even recall.
Gandalf.
Is it Coach
I'll put it up.
Kleehammer?
Yes.
Yes.
It's Cleveland.
Yeah, Coach Kleehammer is voiced, I think, by Toby Huss. He's the one who does the voice for Super
Yeah.
Musicon.
That's
He's the
what
one
I.
that always.
Okay.
Anytime somebody
This
has
is
a
the
voice
debut.
like, "Oh, that's God," it's always tough.
Yeah, Toby.
Yeah.
Yep. Confirmed. Toby Huss.
Toby Huss. Nice. Thanks, guys. That's why we had the experts
Yeah,
on.
that's
Clean
why
up-
we bring
That's it.
experts in.
We
Clean
played
up
the
our
part
misses.
of Wikipedia in this episode.
Yeah.
The girls just have a real crappy ball though. That's bouncing around all weird, and they have to blow it up to pass it around.
General sports.
We cut to the alleyway and starting off with a real funny small talk conversation between the guys. They're saying, so and so's decided to patch his driveway, and they're like, "Where'd he get his asphalt?" Dale's like, "Johnson's," and Hank like almost spits out his beer. I just thought it was really mid
Well, I just love the fact
conversation.
that there's a bad asphalt dealer.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Deep
Local
lore.
Yeah. Very funny
He's
small
on that
joke.
mid pack. Yeah, that mid asphalt pack.
He's got the cheap rocks.
Yeah.
So Bobby pedals up. He's really excited. He tells the guys that he made the wrestling team, and Hank is super excited. He's like, "Heck yeah, Bobby, that's a real sport."
Proud for the first time.
He's like, "That's an Olympic sport." And then he's like, "Wait, this isn't something some guy in a van with a camcorder is doing, right?"
That's good stuff. Right
Yeah,
there.
it's funny.
Mhm.
Very 90s.
He's not going to let you watch
Danger
Titanic,
90s.
is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he wants to take me to the drive-in to watch Titanic.
Go get in the back of the van. Bobby Rose is in there. It's fine.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
So we cut back to the school. Peggy is fed up. She's going to go ask Principal Moss for a new ball, and this is where we get our Dooley content for the episode. So Dooley is
Yes.
Dooley is sitting outside the principal's office, and he got in trouble because he peed in some kid's locker.
Yeah. Waiting to see the principal. Absolute legend. We love
Mhm.
Dooley on this
Dooley's
show.
the best. Yeah.
Yeah, we like
Yeah.
Billy too.
So Peggy
Your
says
mom
she's
is dead.
Yeah, your mom died. Your wife left you.
Your wife.
That's right.
Baduli's going to get another line in here. We just get 2 lines from him, but Peggy, says she's here to get a new basketball. Peggy walks out of the office disappointed, and Dooley says, "Girls' sports are a joke." Classic 90s,
Fighting
late 90s
commentary.
joke. Yeah. And
I wouldn't even say late 90s joke. A lot of people make those jokes today as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
I think the
there's-
tide's about to turn though with old Caitlin Clark. I think she's
Mhm.
the changing the tide.
When
for
the
WNBA.
PWHL is selling out
PWHL?
arenas, the
What
new
the hell is that?
professional women's hockey league.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yep, they have
Huh.
sold out they've sold out 6 separate NHL arenas.
Okay, so it's
And-
not like that whole women's football and lingerie thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No.
Oh, it's not one of
Thank
those.
God. Thank God.
Although would watch.
Well, it'd just be. I mean, you're talking about.
Well, I would not
Get-
watch
get
it.
people's
I'll
attention.
say it that way. I would not watch it.
Yeah, it's cold in here. I can't help it.
Rachel.
Thank
Uh,
you.
So we cut back home, and Hank is excitedly talking to Peggy about making the sports team. And Hank says that he can rearrange his schedule to make all of Bobby's practices, which is like Hank's really excited for Bobby to
But
be
it-
on the wrestling
But
team.
that also means he's never tried before.
Yeah.
To make it to anything that Bobby had.
Bobby hasn't
Yes.
had anything to go
That's
to.
right. I guess you're
Yeah.
right.
I mean, we see him playing baseball in the very first pilot episode, but that's like the
yeah.
last sport that we've seen him play up until this
Well,
sport.
you
Up to
guys,
that point,
you
yeah,
guys haven't
baseball's
gotten
it.
to the soccer episode yet,
No,
right? Okay,
No.
all right.
I'm not even aware of
no
soccer.
spoilers. Don't spoil it.
I
for
don't
the
know
nephews.
anything about this show.
It's not a
Uh,
sport anyway, officially, according to Hank Hill.
What the?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do they play
And
soccer in
according to
Canada?
us.
Do they play soccer in
Yeah,
Canada?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not as popular as some other sports.
Sure.
They call it
Like
football also.
curling. Like
Yeah,
curling.
Yeah,
it's
like
generally
curling.
a frozen rock. They're kicking
Is
around.
curling's like super? Is it? And I'm sorry. Is curling like? Is it very popular?
Yeah, it is. My
Huh.
there was a curling club like in my neighborhood. We would go like semi-frequently, and we would go. Our school had a team, and we would
Really?
go like as a
Wow.
school.
Can you
to-
make a career out of curling? Could you become a millionaire from curling? Is there like a professional curling league?
$1,000.
You could do a million in
$1,000
Canadian.
Yeah,
$50,000
million
a year
Canadian.
to curl,
So around
I'll
like
do it.
15 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
with the exchange rate, it could be a million Canadian.
I'll push
Sure.
the broom. I'll be the broom pusher.
Yeah. The
Do they
skip.
call people
The
who
skip.
curl
That's what they're called. The
curlies?
skip. I
Well,
just
the
call him the
skip is
broom
like
guy.
the guy who's like kind of anchoring.
So it's like
Mm.
Skipper, right?
Yeah, he's
Is
a guy
that-
that's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen
Well,
him
yeah,
do it,
those
Colin.
are
It's fun to watch.
those
I
are
don't know
the
what's going on.
sweepers.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Welcome back to our curling pod, guys.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll have you guys up to Portland and go
Move
curling.
that.
So curl.
Fuck.
Peggy is going to ask Hank, what if Bobby was a girl? To which Hank replies, well, that's just the thing. I don't think we have to worry about that anymore,
That's solid information.
which was a very, very funny line.
Yeah, and Peggy also brings up that she's like trying to get some budget for the
Mhm.
girls' gym, and the budget is going to put holograms on the football tickets instead. And Hank is very obviously pro hologram.
Well, there's a lot of sick people out there, he says, that
Yeah.
are going to counterfeit tickets to
Counterfeit
Tom Landry
high
Middle School.
football.
And this is another one of those great excuses for why there's no funding from Principal Moss, which is kind of his like joke all the time. In the Halloween episode, he said there's no budget because we lost it fighting wheelchair ramps and left-handed scissors. And now it's to put holograms on tickets. So like that's kind of his thing, is there's no funds
Fighting.
because they've spent it on some ridiculous shit.
Yep.
Fighting.
Which is
wheelchair
true.
ramps.
I imagine that happens fairly often inside of school.
Oh, as somebody who's been in education, I can tell you that happens all the time. That is not.
yeah,
Yeah.
we hate wheelchair ramps. And
No,
And
they hate
left-handed
wheelchairs.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna get a unique Peggy flashback here to Peggy wanting to join the baseball team. She walks up to the plate and absolutely goes yard. Rushes a big home run here in this flashback, and the coach is like, "Can you run as well as you can hit?" And she's like, "Yes, sir, I can." And he's like, "Well, run to the store and get us some soda pop."
Yeah, awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
She's hitting the ball better. She's catching it better. She throws harder. But since she's a woman, she could go ahead and go make some sandwiches and get us some sodas. Yeah,
Yes.
that's so funny.
Yeah, that's that 90s level misogyny, sports related misogyny, just 90s misogyny in general.
Classic.
Yeah, you can't talk about the '90s without a little bit of misogyny.
Thank
you know,
God we
No.
fixed
dusted in
that.
there.
Yeah, we solved
Yes.
it all.
Yep.
I actually think All Right Already has an episode
Yeah.
about
That's
this.
exactly right.
probably right.
Again with the Title IX.
Oh man.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Discovering sexism.
Hank, after we come out of this flashback, Hank, all he has to say is, well, boys love sody pop. Very funny, but
Super supportive from my guy Hank.
Hank is going to walk in and pass down a cherished family heirloom to Bobby. He's going to pass down this steel cup. He says it was mine, and before that, it was your grandfather's. Bobby really gets Hank on this, and he's like, Dad, there's holes in it. How am I supposed to drink out of this?
Ooh. Whoa.
Hank immediately bites on it and just, starts to explain to Bobby what it's for. And Bobby says, gotcha.
And then just proceeds to stuff it into his tidy whities. I
Yeah.
love that Bobby was just standing in front of the
He's
mirror.
flexing in the mirror. Yeah.
I love that it's a hand-me-down.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
funny. Your
This was
dad's
a very
balls
funny
were sweated
scene.
in it, and now your balls will sweat.
Your
you.
grandpa's balls. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
someday your son's
Mhm.
balls.
Did any of you guys wrestle at all?
No.
No, we didn't
No?
have wrestling. Wrestling wasn't really big down here.
There's no
Yeah,
wrestling.
there's no
in
wrestling.
Texas. Yeah, we don't allow it.
Yeah, no
I'm
wrestling
sure
in
there
Texas
is,
at all.
We're not
Somewhere.
If you're in like the Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, like major cities, I'm sure have wrestling, but we're too. I went to like a school. I graduated with like 200 people.
Ah,
I
My
went to
graduating
a big
out
class
school.
had like 50, I think.
Football is king. If they can't
Yeah.
afford
Yeah.
other sports, football is going to be the only sport
Yeah.
that's available.
The class
Okay.
I was supposed to graduate in had 36.
36.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
small.
Supposed to
also-
graduate in. That's coming
Well,
up soon, right?
Well, I got kicked out twice, but
Ah.
we
God,
also
dude.
we had it was a Christian school, right? And so
Ah.
we put out the
Can't have boys touching boys.
Sure. We put out the yearbook, and you had a Mr. and Mrs. whatever the name of the school was. They had to recall the yearbook because the Mrs. got pregnant.
Oh no.
Oh,
That is not
my.
a joke. That is actually what happened.
Dang, that's
So-
crazy.
Like, is there a
Redacted.
contraband yearbook around from that year? Where you
There's
can go,
gotta be,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
There's a redacted yearbook somewhere. It just says redacted with her picture
Mhm.
covered. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Nephews,
they literally tore those 2 pages out and then handed them back to people.
that's
and
crazy.
they replaced it with a birth announcement.
No, they replaced it with a virgin birth announcement.
Yeah.
Advertisement for formula.
Jesus, number 2.
It was
Uh,
immaculate.
Coming soon. This time it's
Accepted, yeah.
personal.
Yeah. Wrestling was a big deal. I wrestled for 2 years. I wrestled 7th and 8th grade in middle school.
Whoa, Chris Lore alert.
But
Chris
wrestling's a
wrestled?
pretty big deal for my family history. My dad
Did he
wrestled
pass
in
down
high
his
school.
jock to you?
No.
Nobody's
It
mom
wouldn't-
did. It was great.
Yes. Nice.
Sorry.
No, that was good. That was very nice.
It was available. I'm sorry.
mhm. No,
Just
he
like
wrestled
your
in
mom. Yeah.
he wrestled in college. My grandpa wrestled in college. Yeah, both of my brothers did some wrestling. So
Wow.
yeah, I didn't wrestle past 8th. I didn't wrestle in high school, but I wrestled 2 years in middle school.
How does the
Wow.
family cup smell?
Better than you'd think. Yeah, I think
So-
my younger brother has it now. We'll have to
That
track
is
it
one
down.
of those things that, like he was talking about in Texas. I mean, we didn't really have wrestling. We certainly didn't have curling and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Football
it's so
was king.
foreign to us. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always football.
They used to
Mhm.
like take away like art programs just
Yep.
so they could
Just to
fund
keep football.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there was one point where we were like real bad with football, like terrible. And the next year they cut choir
Yeah.
and they cut like 3 art classes and
If you can't hit
put
somebody, you
all
can't
that
sing.
money back into the football program, which it did pay off. They've got like 4 state championships, like appearances, and like 2 wins since I graduated high school, which has been 15 years. But
Mhm.
it's still cool that all
Impressive.
that cutting art actually paid off. They
You
got
heard
a
it here
natty, very old
first.
natty, yeah.
Listeners,
Cut the arts, folks. Cut them
the
out.
arts and win.
Cut them
Nobody
out.
needs it.
Who needs crayons?
Yeah, exactly. Wrestling's pretty big in Oklahoma, though. That's a huge thing. A
Okay.
lot of
Really? Has it-
wrestling.
Big Edmund.
It's
thing,
been that way
yeah.
most of your life.
Yeah, that's
Huh.
historically one of Oklahoma's
Is there a
pride.
lot of men on men activities in Oklahoma? I hear that's a
Get
common
on,
Yes.
drag him. Come on,
Yeah,
go in
but
deeper.
only
It's
on
like-
the mat. Only on the mat.
So let me
And
ask
we'll
you
be
this.
right back with a word from Charmin.
Yeah. Since you're an Oklahoman, what happens in the little panhandle area of Oklahoma?
Wrestling.
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 They're just out there in the middle of the hills. Out
Yeah.
there just wrestling.
Just well, they're two different things, wrestling and wrestling. You have to understand.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That's very
Yeah,
true.
wrestling's on the mat, wrestling's on a bed.
That's the,
Oh
my God, it's so juicy.
Thank you. That's
There you go.
That's the one my youth pastor told me about.
Yeah. I did not get a cup passed down to me, but I did get that shitty wrestling joke passed down
There
to
you
me.
go.
There you go.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
so
something.
Connie is gonna approach Bobby after Jim here, asking oh no, it's in gym, not at the end of school yet. Connie ball rolls over, hits Bobby, just asking how wrestling is going. Bobby's pretty into it. He says, you got it, we lock it. Bobby's like, here, I'll show you some moves. And Bobby's like, this is impossible to get out of. And Connie just slips right out of it. And Bobby is like frazzled by this. And he's like, well, you didn't use real wrestling. Like if you use real wrestling, it's impossible. It's impossible to get out of here.
It's like those self-defense classes when they tell you to like pretend to stab me or something, but
Mhm.
you didn't stab me.
Oh,
right.
that guy from
Yeah.
Detroit. Yeah, the guy from Detroit with the weird like slapping your wrist
Yeah.
when you put a pistol
Oh,
to
yeah.
your face.
That
That
guy's
guy,
a
yeah.
legend.
Yeah, he is.
I've taken
so-
Don't
his
try
class
catching
4
him in the alley.
times.
He'll whoop your ass.
Virtually.
We get our first taste of Connie. Connie here slips out. It's a very, very fun scene, but we end this scene. Oh wait, yeah, let's see here. Peggy is going to get into a fight with the wrestling coach and the athletic director about funding here. They're going to have some funny lines about, well, Doug can back me up on this and Doug can back me up on that. But it ends with the girls being marched out of the gym. I think the wrestling coach wants the entire gym. Peggy tries to say, no, I need the gym too. And all the girls get kicked out. Connie suggests that maybe she should do yearbook. And this really sets Peggy off. She calls yearbook a squalid waste of time.
Shameful, squalid waste of time.
And, it could be a shameful class if I guess you have to rip pages out. And
That's exactly right.
redact your.
Issue redactions.
That's good journalism, folks. Teach those
When
kids that.
My junior year, I was on the whatever you call it, yearbook squad, yearbook team, yearbook staff, whatever. That was the worst class. I mean, there was nothing really to do.
Mhm.
You come in like halfway through the year and you get into something like that. Everybody's got everything covered and nobody wants you there.
Yep.
Would
So,
you call it a shameful, squalid waste of time?
It was a shameful, squalid waste of my time. Yes, I don't know
Yes.
about everybody else's, but mine certainly.
It's a nice distinction. Before we go to commercial break here, we get a final parting shot of Bobby getting punched in the cup, which is definitely a thing 12-year-old boys would do. Be like,
Yes,
yeah, this
anyone
is.
who has ever put on a cup has had someone either kick or punch them.
Well,
Yep.
it's like what you
Nut
do
tap.
with tongs. You have to do a knock whenever you put it on, just to
Yeah, you
make
got to
sure.
test it out. Else
But yeah.
you know it's gonna work.
Bobby
Right.
gets punched, and then we go to break. The coach tells everybody to hit the showers. He says no Oklahoma car washes. Actually, get your hair wet, which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
Is that a
but
thing? Is that
It
an
is funny.
actual
I've never
saying?
heard of an Oklahoma car wash before. I've heard of Hollywood showers. Don't take a
Yeah.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of all the same. They all mean the same thing. It's a sink shower. He says, yeah, don't
So it's
phone
like a
in.
horse bath? Is that what it is? Is it the same
Yeah,
thing?
horse
Yeah,
Horse bath?
I was waiting for
horse
you guys
bath
to
or
say
a
it.
horse bath?
Well, either, but it's just a larger sponge. But yeah, a horse bath. Yeah, that's what I was always told by my
Mhm.
grandfather. Now I don't know who he was
Yeah.
hanging out with earlier in his life, but yeah, horse bath.
Mhm. Well, they're going to politely call it an Oklahoma car wash.
That's very nice. Yeah,
I don't think you could say horse bath in the 90s on TV.
probably not. Probably
Yeah,
not.
maybe not.
Lady of ill repute's washing time.
A sex worker's sink.
Sex workers sink
sauna.
spa.
Yes.
A glory hole.
Oh no, that's a whole different thing.
Whole
Um,
different thing.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Peggy is going to be arguing with the wrestling coach in his office because Connie wants to wrestle. Peggy is going to quote, she's going to say Title IX. The gym coach is going to fire back and say, well, Roe v. Wade doesn't apply to my wrestling team.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Shout out Roe v. Wade.
Doesn't apply to
90s.
much anything anymore, does it?
It does not.
That
Oh,
tells you exactly how in tune this guy is. He thinks Title IX and Roe v. Wade are the same thing. It's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's a lot of the humor there is that he thinks Title IX and Roe v.
Mhm.
Wade are the same. And then also, I did underline that's pertinent here in 2004.
Well,
Which
also,
doesn't-
2004?
2004.
Well,
Yeah, that's where we're at.
2024. That's where we are. Yeah, we're in 2004.
Across the highway here, we have Baylor University, which
Mhm.
they're not worried about Title IX either.
No, of course not.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That one takes a little research. Topical.
I'll put up an article on the screen.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Baylor, famously non-scandalous school. Yeah. So
Great place to learn, kids. Come on.
we cut
Come on
over
down.
to Peggy is having a sit-down discussion with the Supernussenpones and drinking Zinfandel, which is fun.
Oh, Zinfandel. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. The Supernussenpones are worried. Connie makes the point that wrestling could set her apart on her college applications, and she says, "Dad, on my last resume, you said I lacked real world experience," which is a very funny criticism for a father to have of his 12-year-old daughter's practice college application.
Yeah, I bet she's been writing it for 8
Mhm.
years.
I always thought that was hilarious. That whole play up of the Asian culture of dads and moms forcing their kids to be smart.
Yeah. Min is going to say Con Jr. plays violin and she sculpts with metal and she speaks 3 languages, but what sets her apart?
Metal.
Yeah.
What sets her apart? Yeah.
Sculpts with metal is the one for me right there. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It was very funny. And then
I
it's
just love that Con thought that just being smart in Texas would be enough.
Yes.
So funny.
classic Con, absolutely throwing Texas under the bus. I love
Pretty
him.
close to the target there.
Yes. So the Supernussenpones are going to visit the school and really put their foot down to try to get Connie into the wrestling program. The wrestling coach is finally going to make the connection that Peggy is Bobby's mom in the office here.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, so you're Bobby's mom?" And Con roasts the wrestling coach and says very good. You followed the trail of clues that start with the last name. Con absolutely spitting flames.
I do
principal,
love that Hank he says that it's all well and good to support women's rights unless it takes a spot away from a man.
Mhm.
That was probably the funnest line from Hank.
Yes. Yeah, Hank on
there
his
are times like
shit.
that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
Now go
there
for
are
it.
times when Hank does come across as very stereotypical Texan older white guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I always feel like he redeems himself by the end of the show. And
Yeah.
whatever he says is something that's been ingrained in him. We also have to remember that Cotton is his father. So
Mhm.
he has gotten as far away as he possibly can. But as a son of a man a lot like Cotton, I can tell you it is tough to start separating yourself from that stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Oh, yeah.
ingrained for sure.
Yes, for
And
sure.
Hank
My
does do a good job of opening up.
He does.
Yeah. It took
In-
Mike
in
like
some
20
episodes.
years to erase the N-word from his vernacular.
Wow.
Just kidding.
It was a Nissan. I was driving a Nissan. That's what he said.
you can't say that.
Nissan?
Yeah,
Nissan.
I'm gonna
Nissan.
bleep that every
That'd be great.
No.
I was driving a boop. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, my granddad is definitely was very much Cotton Hill, and
Sure.
maybe the nephews have heard about us talk about it in Shins of the Father. Maybe they haven't.
Yeah, that episode we don't need to talk about.
Yeah, it's actually not
Never
real.
mind.
It's actually not released.
Good.
But
We're in a legal battle with Fergie.
Oh,
the principal
not the
Moss.
one you think though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually just a guy with the last name of Ferguson. Everyone calls him Fergie.
Yeah.
The principal Moss can't pronounce Supernussenpone, which is very funny.
That was very good.
Con is going to leave the office with a zinger of talking about how if you don't let Connie wrestle, I'll show you. I'll put the Sue in Supernussenpone. So Con threatens.
I like that
Yeah, that's a
wordplay.
good
Yeah.
comment.
Khan threatens to sue, which works very well with Principal Moss. He's very afraid of lawsuits. It's kind of part of his shtick.
Yeah, the whole wheelchair ramp thing.
Yeah, the coach here has a funny thing. He says Title IX was Dick Nixon's biggest mistake. So yeah, Bobby is upset because he's now going to have to fight for his spot, and Hank delivers us that gem of a line that all is well and good until a man loses his job, and Bobby follows it up and says, "Yeah, it's worse when they take away our favors because we're used to getting them."
Yeah, a little on the nose, but
that
really
white
funny.
privilege. Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say those two lines really encapsulate white male privilege. And if you know any white males who are really upset about the changing times, those two lines pretty much just described it.
Well, it also shows that Hank could pass that down to his son if he's not real careful. You know, that whole thing that came from Cotton to him could also go to Bobby, and see that's the thing you fear as a son of somebody who was like that.
Well, in doing all this King of the Hill podcast, that's one of the things that we've noticed from a lot of the people that reach out is you got like 50% of them are all inclusive. Black, white, Hispanic, gay, trans, whatever, like huge variety of audience. But the other 50% is people who would think that he would vote for Donald Trump, like Hank Hill's going to vote for Donald Trump and be a part of the MAGA atmosphere and stuff like that. That's the one thing I don't really like about the divided audience is like half of it is like super inclusive, loves the show for what it really is. And then you have these guys who have like this red wash like perception of what King of the Hill is.
I think
they don't really get the joke.
Well, again,
that's
where our country
a little right over the head.
Right
now. Yeah, that's pretty much encapsulates America.
Yeah, it's like down with Hollywood, but we like King of the Hill because they're on our side. Not knowing that all the writers are all liberal writers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're kind of making
art schools and
fun
stuff like that.
Yeah. The joke is lost on some folks, certainly. But if you get the jokes, welcome to our show. So Bill has some really funny lines here in the alleyway. Bill's going to say that he's all for women wrestling, except in pudding, because that's demeaning to people who make pudding.
And I agree with that.
Demeaning to the pudding makers.
Yes, which is a very funny line from Bill. I loved Bill here in the middle of the episode. Dale is going to chime in and say that, the number one priority on the Feminite agenda after their meeting is, Feminite agenda. The number one priority is co-ed bathrooms. So there's a really kind of a fucked up joke here that happens before the break. Did anybody look into this last punchline? Peggy
is it where Hank calls Earl Warren a woman?
Yes. So Peggy asks the question to Hank, did a woman ruin the Supreme Court? Hank says yes, and her name was Earl Warren. Do you guys know who Earl Warren is?
I know the name. I know the name of the Supreme Court Justice.
He was the Chief Justice. Primarily, he was the Chief Justice that was responsible for the unanimous Supreme Court decision in Brown versus the Board of Education.
Yeah.
So Earl Warren is responsible for the ruling that desegregated the schools, and Hank thinks that he ruined the Supreme Court.
See, that's a Cotton thing.
That's kind of fucked up.
Thing, or a very Texas thing, because states' rights is a huge thing in Texas.
Yeah,
so I think it more goes back
Not so
to
much.
Like
it's just Texas
states, like Texas rights. Yeah, we don't even consider ourselves a state most of the time. When people say where are you from that are like international, I don't say I'm from the United States. I say I'm from Texas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're still trying to secede for some reason.
Yeah, how's that going?
Oh, it's going great. Yeah, thanks for asking. Great. We got shirts. That's about it. So
yeah, we'll have to check back in on.
Well, that's where you
too.
start. You start first with the shirt.
Hey, it's all about the merch.
We've got shirts, and
it is all about the merch.
Forming committees. We've got committees that were forming.
Committees are forming. But interesting joke there at the end before we cut to our second commercial break there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now we pause for reflection.
Pausing for reflection.
I need to get a mirror in this room.
we come back to, and Peggy and Min are talking, and Peggy is very conflicted because now, Bobby has to compete for his spot against Connie. And Min is there, and Peggy's like, who do I choose? Connie or Bobby? And Min is just like, choose Connie. Choose Connie. Choose Connie. I just thought it was so fun. Min was like, choose Connie.
Well, because she's got that dilemma she's got to face now. Is it's like, do I pick Connie because Connie is a woman and I want to empower women, or do I pick my son because it's my son?
Nepotism or feminism? The age-old
there you go.
dilemma. Yeah.
Peggy, really gets pulled in two directions here, but they've decided that if Connie's going to do this, she's got to get prepared, and Min has got a wrestling book, and Luann is going to help. So we have a little scene
Bill's
of
delight.
Yes, we have a scene of Min and Luann wrestling as Bill is watching, and I watch with subtitles on, so I can see where they're putting in the sound effects. And he's smacking his lips and watching Min and Luann wrestling, which is kind of funny. And then we turn around and he's eating pudding.
I didn't catch that.
You didn't catch that?
That's amazing.
That's it says
so
smacking lips and he's eating pudding.
There are so many times when Bill is such a friggin' creep. I mean, he really can be the creepiest guy on the thing. And it does make you feel like these other three guys, Dale included, are the only thing keeping him from turning into a full-fledged creep.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for a Luann OnlyFans episode in the new series where it's just her doing the manger babies, nothing sexual. It's just her doing manger babies on OnlyFans.
Oh, and getting caught up in it. Yeah,
getting caught up in it, kind of thing.
The puppets are on her feet.
That'd be funny.
She's innocent most of the time. She has that naive innocence about her sometimes. And I think that would make for a great episode.
Well, they kind of do that episode in the episode about Peggy's feet. Spoiler alerts.
Yeah, they do. They do kind of touch on that for sure. Yeah.
I can't wait for that episode.
Yes.
Those big skis and big skis.
Yes. So yeah, very funny scene of Bill eating pudding and watching Min and Luann wrestling.
Well, see, if you're eating it, it's not near as degrading to the pudding.
Yeah, he's being
wrestling
respectful.
in it is
It's
out of the question.
Respectfully.
Hank is doing a drill with Bobby, a quote unquote drill, where he has covered Bobby in a piece of carpet and he has wet the carpet down to make it heavy. And he tells Bobby the key to wrestling is explosive energy. And he's trying to get Bobby
to explode.
To explode, boy.
Yeah.
I will tell you this, that I have heard stories of that actually happening, like in football practice here in Texas. That is, and I would imagine
carpet.
Oklahoma's the same thing.
That was
the same kind of approach. Also in the Army.
Wow. It was something we heard, but I never saw anything like that.
No, I don't think I ever saw it either, but you would hear these horror stories of that kind of stuff.
The old Oklahoma drill for sure.
What the hell's the Oklahoma drill?
It's where they lay on the
drill.
ground and then the coach blows the whistle and they jump up and they run as fast as they can at each other.
Oh,
yeah. It's pretty much to show who's the fastest off the line and who's the strongest off the line.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, they don't do it anymore. I'm pretty sure that's
for that reason.
Activity.
Yeah.
There's probably court precedents for that. Yeah.
I do love that Bobby says, "I'm danged here. I'm royally danged.
I'm royally danged here." We cut to Connie getting kind of picked on in the cafeteria for being the the girl wrestler. The other bully.
Yeah, what's the name of this kid with the tiny ponytail and the sides of his head shaved and the lip?
What is his name? Do you guys know?
I think this is our first.
That's what we brought you here for.
He always kind of shows up and Dooley shows up and he goes, I love her. I love her thoughts. Yeah.
Hold on.
It's really high up here.
It's really high up.
Hi, Connie.
That's Clark Peters. Sorry,
Clark Peters.
Clark Peters. I think this is our first time meeting him.
Oh,
maybe.
Well, congratulations.
Connie is, talking to Con and talking about how she wants to quit, and Con is not allowing her to quit. He's like, Con, Junior, I went out on a big limb for you, and he says, if you lose, you're no longer my son.
That's a good joke too.
Tragic line from Con. He's really letting it slip out that Con wanted a son. We cut to one of my favorite scenes here at the end of the episode. Peggy is getting her frustrations out at the batting cage. She's got a pile of Alamo beers at her feet, and she's just yelling at the world and yelling at the coach who wouldn't let her join.
She's absolutely wasted, I think.
She is wasted. She's yelling at Luann to get her more tokens. And Luann is like, "What? What? 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 What?
She was a strong ass woman. I'm just telling
She
you
really
that.
is.
And think about her center of gravity with those giant feet.
Oh man,
Mhm.
she could do the whole she could do
Power.
the Michael Jackson
Oh,
lean
yeah.
forward
Yeah.
and
Oh my god.
touch the
yeah.
ground. Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
an
I feel
episode
like Krusty
recently
the
where
Clown.
they thought that there was an intruder in the house, and Peggy
Mhm.
just flips a chair over and snaps a leg off
That's right.
of it. Like
That's
it's
right.
nothing.
Gets
Oh
it,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
she's unfuckwittable for sure. I wouldn't mess with Peggy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Peggy
She's
Hugh.
down. Like he doesn't have to worry about Peggy like getting mugged at the grocery store because she would.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
she's
got
gonna whoop the
protection.
mugger's ass.
Well,
Yeah.
you
He's
gotta
got
think
that
that's
fang on him.
Well, you got to think that's a little bit of a turn on for him, because I mean,
Do you think that he's a power bottom? Is that
Well,
what you're saying? That
This
Hank's a
has come
power
up
bottom?
quite a few times. We
Peggy?
posit that Hank might have a foot fetish.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think he has
Yes.
a foot fetish, but I think he also has a whatever you call that
domination.
hairdo. He has that hairdo fetish. The mom in the '90s. Big
I think-
like single
Yeah.
white lady afro.
I don't know.
Mom
Oh,
kinda
yes.
thing,
I think he
know?
likes men, so
Yeah.
Peggy's the closest
Lots
thing you
of-
can get to being with a
Lots
man.
of hairspray, that kind of thing. I think he loves that.
There's a lot of theories out there about Hank's sexuality.
I don't think that. I think the closest Hank ever gets to questioning his sexuality would be in some of that homoerotic, football and stuff like that he did.
Mhm.
But other than that,
Well, in the
I don't
Willie
think it-
Nelson dreams.
Wrestling.
Well, that's true. That's true. I doubt it. I probably very rarely crosses his mind. But I would imagine a shower is immediately afterwards. Anytime it does,
Ooh,
Yes.
get
you
clean.
gotta clean your brain.
Yeah.
Clean your brain.
Yes.
Yes.
If you can take one thing away from this, kids, clean your brain.
Clean your brains out.
Yes, listen up, nephews.
Once you're done listening to this podcast, go take a shower.
Go take a
In your
shower. I think
brain.
we're
And-
all going to need to
and hey,
take a shower
no,
after this
Don't
episode.
Oklahoma car wash your brain either.
No.
Really scrub it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Really scrub it.
Really good.
Luann is gonna pull Peggy out of the car. I just like that Luann is hanging out with Peggy when she's going through it.
She's
but
a real one. We love
She really
Luann.
is. Luann is pulling Peggy into the house, and a light goes on in Bobby's room, and she goes, "I'm sorry, Jeffrey." And Luann's like, "That's Bobby." And Peggy was like, "I wanted to call him Jeffrey, but some man wouldn't let me."
I love that. That is
and-
one of my all-time favorite jokes from Peggy. Just the fact that she has to be flat-ass drunk to admit the fact that she was going to name her kid something else.
Yeah.
Mhm. And some man wouldn't
That's
let
his
her.
middle name too, right?
I don't know.
Bobby
Maybe.
Jeffrey Hill.
I
Yeah,
believe
Bobby
I read
Jeffrey.
that
That's his
while
middle
I was.
name. I think
yeah.
that's his middle name. Yeah.
So his name
Oh,
is
So he's
interesting.
got the middle name.
His
Wow.
initials are BJ.
BJ Hill.
Hey, mine too.
I was gonna say
Ah,
that's
there you go.
yours.
Yeah, I'm a BJ myself.
Mhm.
So
Big
your
one.
middle name starts with a J? The big one.
I'm a BJ. I said.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's John.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. I was a little worried that I was being yelled at there for a second.
No.
Oh no. I just
The
had
light-
to clarify that I'm a BJ.
I get it. Sure. That's
The,
never come up before today, though, right?
No, every episode actually.
Never was a problem in school or anything like that.
No, not at all. I didn't
Sure,
get bullied.
just slid right through. No problem.
Yep.
The light goes on in Bobby's room because he's up at night and really he's worried about the tryouts tomorrow, but he gets an idea after he gets out of bed and he kicks the video game cover for the wrestling video game. The name of the video game is Sergeant Gorgeous. I don't know if you saw that.
Gorgeous.
I like that. That sounds like a riveting game.
Yes, it's
Good
very
band
funny.
name, too.
It's very funny how guys will say that they hate drag and then be so into wrestling, which is drag for men. But Bobby gets an idea, and we get a cut shot of him looking at the video game and then looking at Connie through her window. Connie is obviously also very worried about this. She's got her heads down, so it looks like they hatch a little idea. But
Get a plot going.
yeah, it's the next day over at the tryouts. The coach is like, sorry, your mom couldn't make it, here to see you. And Bobby's like, my mom couldn't come because she had to sleep in.
She's
Good
hungover.
stuff.
She's hungover. She had to sleep in. So yeah, we're at the tryouts and it starts, suspenseful music is playing. We see Bobby and Connie kind of lock up. Everyone's cheering him on. The Supernussenpones have the camera going. And then we see all of a sudden Bobby just picks Connie up over his head and absolutely hits her with a knee drop.
Yeah.
When
They
I
start
saw
doing
this,
that
I thought that
K-pop
it
wrestling.
was.
They start doing the
Mhm.
WWE style stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that this was just like a tactic that Bobby was going for, and that he actually like seriously injured Connie at
Mhm.
first, and then I was like, oh no, they're doing
He pulled
Yeah.
in real
doing a
wrestling.
thing.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was one of the jokes the whole episode is, real wrestling versus fake
Yep.
wrestling, or what's fake
Yep.
versus real. And, all wrestling is real.
It's true.
But yeah, they kind of go into this
Your
kind
mouth
of
to God's ear.
craft. We get a funny line from Connie as she gets thrown to the side, and we see this through Con's video camera.
Yeah, recording for the Harvard application.
Connie says, "I want to go to a party school. Yeah, Chico State."
I
Which
love
I
how
thought,
she has her character ready to go.
Yep.
she's like, "Yeah, this is
party girl.
Peggy comes in late. She's hungover as hell with some big glasses on. And she's like, "What's happening?" She hears the cheering and she's like, "Oh, is that girl beating up my poor Jeffrey?" And Hank's like, "No, I think they found a way that they could both win this." And we get kind of a nice, cute wrap up there. But yeah, Peggy ends it. She's like, "That's our Jeffrey." So yeah, they figure out a way at the end to make it work with real wrestling, not fake wrestling.
Yes.
I love drunk ass hungover Peggy. That is just the best.
I don't think
Yes.
we've gotten a hungover Peggy yet.
Well, I mean,
That
like
was
she's
nice.
not a big enough tool to begin with. Then
Mhm.
you give her the hangover with the giant glasses and stuff.
Also, did she sleep through work? Because she's supposed to be the long-term sub.
Yeah, I
here.
guess she did.
True.
They call
She just
subbing
missed
sub.
work.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Did she just sleep
Education is
through?
important, kids.
Yes. But that's the episode. Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah,
Good
We
job.
made it through, y'all.
We did.
We loved it.
Should we step immediately into the alley, Chris?
To the children's playground. Yes, the alley.
The
alley, the children's playground.
From the
I'm
school.
gonna buy you a drink.
This is, of course, the segment of the show where we take a step out back and we give this episode a rating because art deserves to be judged and given a score.
No, art deserves to be cut to send more funding to sports.
You got that right.
Yeah. We don't need art. What's a crayon?
We
I've
use
never
a
seen a math
scale
pencil before.
of Alamo beers. So we give the episode, if you're down in one beer, it's a light night for you. If you're going all 6, you're going to miss work tomorrow like Peggy.
Yeah.
I will kick it off. I think I'm going to go, I'm going to give this one a solid 4.
Yep, that's where I'm at as well.
4
Yeah.
Alamo.
No, it's kind of coincidental because I was going with 4 myself. Not too many beers. Not kind of light buzz going.
4.25.
3.25.
4.25. Yeah.
Whoa.
Ooh,
Okay.
4 1/4.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead with 4 1/4, and the quarter is for savings.
So you're cracking up a 4th and
For
kinda
later.
leaving it out.
For later.
Yeah,
It's a sipper. Yeah, it's a sipping can. It's not a drinking can.
I told you guys I got kicked out of high school twice. One of the reasons was because I used to keep a case in the back of my trunk. And I would, this is at the Baptist school, and I would go across the street and just get wasted at lunch on hot beer. So a quarter beer that's been left out, that's not a problem.
Cowboy cold, baby.
Got it.
I think I would have been willing to move this one up in score if it, I think, had more of the kind of professional wrestling trope in it throughout the episode. Like we see it at the beginning and we see it at the end, but I kind of wish they would have teased it a little bit more.
Yeah, it would have been funny.
Yeah.
I wanted
had a lot of good gags.
I wanted Sergeant Gorgeous to give life experience relationship advice to Bobby. I think if there was some way for him to actually talk to the wrestler, maybe he was in town or something like that, I think that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing with the episode too, is we didn't get enough Bobby and Connie.
Yes.
It felt like it was more Peggy than it was a Bobby and Connie episode.
As a teenager, I was able to get the Undertaker to body slam me one time. So
whoa, what?
I know that it changed the way that I looked at the world.
That's dope. Where did that happen at?
It was at the Heart of Texas Coliseum in downtown Waco, Texas.
Sunday.
Undertaker.
Damn, that's awesome. Was
That
it
was
like
great.
you get called up
It was a
and
fake
like
one.
this
You know
happened
what I
in
mean? I
front
mean, it
of
was.
people?
I mean, it was a child, so it was a fake one. But yeah, no, it was during the when you line up to go get an autograph, and then I
Yeah.
asked him to body slam me, and he did. I mean,
That's awesome.
That's
ask and you
cool.
shall receive. Oh.
Wow.
Next time
I
I go to a
asked
convention, I'm gonna be
Steve-O
like,
to.
"Hey, can you kick me in the nuts?"
Well, yeah, I was about to say I asked
Yeah,
Steve-O to
Please?
kick me
convention.
in the nuts, and he said he doesn't do that anymore. But he did show me his butthole.
Oh, there you go.
I actually have a Canadian buddy. You said mankind. I actually have a Canadian buddy who does a podcast for men's mental health, and he actually had Mick Foley on his podcast.
Oh, cool.
And
Hell yeah.
interviewed him.
And coincidentally, you showed him.
Well, he also does. He does a men's mental health podcast, but he is he's real big into wrestling, and he does a lot of like local wrestling promotions. So he kind of like
Nice.
through that, he's kind of met
Yeah.
some famous wrestlers,
freelance
and stuff like that.
proctologist too.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. We didn't really talk about the professional wrestling angle. Were you guys into professional wrestling, WWE, and all that jazz?
Yeah, the Raw era, like through like that NWO and the Generation X and that whole like rated PG-13 era. Yeah,
Yep.
man, I loved it.
I was a big Stone Cold fan. I thought that everyone
course.
should have their own entry theme like that. You know, just in normal life.
I like
Is that
Stone
how-
I
Cold,
agree
too.
with that.
Well, that's
Is
what I'm
that how
saying.
you were
Imagine
drinking those beers in high school? You were just
Yeah, slamming them.
slam them and then
Pour 'em all over the
Pouring
face.
most of it on yourself.
just coming back to class wet as hell with hot beer.
Yeah, well, there was different reasons I was wet, but yes, with the hot beer.
He was watching Titanic.
That's right. Gets me right in the feels every time.
Nice.
All right,
Nice. Heck yeah.
so it sounds like we're kind of all on the same page as
Mhm.
far as ranking the episode.
Yep.
But we have one last thing to do here, and that is crowning our Hill Kings of the episode. We don't like to put any forethought into this. We generally like to decide in the minute. It could be whoever had the best joke delivery, whoever you thought had the most character development, or just whoever you thought stood out the most.
Yeah.
I'm
Who
I've
is
got
the king of your hill?
I've
Chris, do you
got
wanna
mine
go
ready.
first?
Yeah, I've got mine ready.
I got mine ready too.
You kind of mentioned it earlier. It's, you know, when you said we don't get enough Connie and Bobby and that it's a Peggy
Yeah.
episode.
Mhm.
I'm taking Peggy.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm taking Peggy. We get a flashback from her, which
Yeah.
is nice. We get,
Yeah.
you know, she's driving a lot of the action and conflict, and she's really
She
going to
is.
bat for these girls. She's really going to bat for Connie. And then we get to see her be drunk at the batting cages and
that was
hungover.
great.
So yeah, I think this is a Peggy episode. I think it's her episode, and she did really well with it.
I would
Alright,
say
Peggy.
for me it would be Connie because she fought so hard to do what she wanted to do, kind of thing. She was like, she wouldn't take a no for an answer. She's like, I want to wrestle. I don't want to do gymnastics or none of this. I want to wrestle. And then following through with it or whatever and getting to do what she wanted. And then kind of shitting on everybody at the end with Bobby, kind of thing like that. You know, the pro wrestling atmosphere feel to their wrestling match. I really like that because I don't know, it takes really funny people to say, hey, we're supposed to be doing this serious sport. Like people who wrestle are serious about it. They take it's like
Mhm.
any sport, any competitive sport. People that are participating are serious, and the fact they took it and made light of it, I kind of like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, Connie is like underrated funny.
She was my backup pick. I almost went with her.
Your safety.
She's a very good kind of like straight man. Like in
Yeah,
she's a
in
good-
the Roe
she's a
v.
good
Wade
straight man.
line earlier,
Yeah.
they're exiting the office and she's like, Miss Hill, isn't Roe v. Wade? And Miss Hill's like, just, you have to let him win it. So yeah, she's a very good, smart character. Her
Yeah,
humor is
but
very
the
smart.
Chico State thing was really funny too.
Yeah,
Chico State
Chico
was
State.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good pick.
right,
Excellent
who's next?
pick. You can go next. It's all you.
Okay, so I am also picking Peggy, but for a different reason. It is much like the Time Magazine Person of the Year. It can be a good person, it can be a bad person, right?
Mhm.
So just remember, this is the same magazine that had Vladimir Putin on the cover and called him a peacemaker.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go with Peggy, just simply because she fights and fights and fights and really gets nothing done, just gets drunk and misses work. I think there's something there.
Yeah, Peggy.
Excellent.
This is definitely the Peggy dichotomy.
Yes, the dichotomy of Peg.
She's a complex woman.
I like that pick. Two Peggies for two very different reasons.
Yeah.
I am into it. I think I'm gonna go kind of left field. I'm gonna go with Dooley.
Oh,
Dooley.
Whoa,
I like
we got
I
Dooley
call
as the
my
king of the
yeah.
hill.
that's
I
good
go
king.
for
stuff.
the chuckle. I'm a bit of a
Yeah.
chuckle fuck.
Mhm.
And
Chuckle fuck, yeah.
whoever gives me the best chuckle in the episode, if I'm on the fence, I'm gonna go with whoever gave me the best chuckle. And Dooley peeing in a locker and
Mhm.
being in the principal's office for pissing in a locker. He only had like 2 lines in the whole episode, but they were probably my favorite.
I will
So
say
I'm gonna
that
throw it to
Dooley,
the
He had
dual
2
string.
lines. 2
Dooley
lines.
has fantastic timing.
Yes.
Mhm.
You know, his
Excellent
timing is
timing.
always great. Yeah.
And I appreciate good timing, and I appreciate pissing in a locker.
I like that he didn't know which
Do we
kid's
all?
locker it was.
Yeah.
It was just a
That
locker.
makes it
It
so
wasn't
much better.
targeted bullying. It was just he picked a locker and he pissed in it.
Very good stuff.
And also, yeah, his 2 lines were I peed in some kid's locker and girls' sports are a joke. He says, like, yeah, 11 words.
Yeah, but he hammered it out though.
He did.
Yeah.
He didn't
His-
need to say. He didn't need to say any
Mhm.
more than what he said. Yeah, say less.
He had good mass. Yeah, this episode. Nice.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for this segment, and that is going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode. We
Yeah.
appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, thanks so
Yeah,
much,
no
guys.
worries, man. No
Time.
worries at
A
all.
ton of fun, guys. I'm sorry if we derailed it at all.
No, we
No,
got a
no,
lot of
this
good
is-
90s
this
stuff
is
out there.
typical. This is
Mhm.
typical
Yeah.
for the show.
If you ever want us
you
on
guys fit
again
right in.
for just random episodes, just let us know, man.
Yeah,
We love collaboration. It's kind of funny with this King of the Hill stuff. There's a few other podcasts out there that I tried to collaborate with,
Speaks for itself.
and not every one of them was as receptive as you were, and some were opposite of receptive, like blocked
Yeah.
me from communicating with them on
Mm.
Instagram and
Why
stuff
can't-
like
You
that.
mentioned
can't we
that
just
when I
all
was
get
on
along?
your show.
Yeah, I feel like
Interesting.
they're afraid that somebody's going to come like take their piece of the pie or something, but none of us
Yeah.
are making any money doing this.
Yeah,
So
there's
pie are we
what
really-
pie? Yeah, what pie?
Yeah.
There's pie.
There is no pie. We're all just having
I think
fun.
it
When
would
the
be
fuck
funny
did
if
we
we
get ice
started
cream?
kind of like a Drake Kendrick
Yeah.
style beef, and we started like
Oh.
releasing diss tracks
I
about
like
each
that.
other.
Mhm.
I like.
Yeah,
that.
we could do that. We should let me get in the lab.
The iPad just died. Nice.
Oh, that's hilarious. I don't think that was on purpose.
No, that
for
was
the
not.
nephews. They did let us know that their iPad was dying.
Oh.
But that was kind of the best timing for
Yeah,
us.
that was great timing. Shout out to the BWAAA
Beef.
guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Mike and Rusty had some really great context for us. I love their
And now we
perspectives.
do have a beef because
Yeah.
they hung up on us.
They hung up on us, so we have beef with BWAAA now,
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
You'll
was
never
great.
see them again.
Do you want to plug their handles, maybe, since they were here to
Yeah.
do it?
Do you have those handy?
Yeah, so the BWAAA podcast guys, and I think they mentioned it too. They have a couple of family of podcasts where they do
The Rogue Media Network.
the Rogue Media Network. They do BWAAA, this King of the Hill podcast. They've also got, I think they mentioned their Adult Swim podcast. Their handle is it's BWAAA KOTH. So that's BWAAA KOTH. So BW 3A's KOTH. That's the BWAAA podcast. Check them out
Go
on
check
YouTube.
it out. It will be linked in the
And podcasts.
description
Mhm.
for wherever you can find them, social medias, audio, YouTube. Go check them out. We really
Yeah.
appreciate them coming on the show.
Super
It's always
fun.
fun to have a guest on, and the first time that we have a guest that specifically does what we do, and they're
Mhm.
much further down the line than we are. so
Very
that's pretty
fun.
cool. It's
like
pretty
looking into
cool
the future.
to see, Chris.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you have any parting words for our little baby nephews?
9/11. That's probably gonna get us flagged. This is a 9/11 conspiracy episode,
I'll
folks.
just bleep that out too. Well, we
9/11,
appreciate
9/11, 9/11.
y'all sticking through episode 10. We will be back next week for season 2, episode 11, which is titled "The Unbearable Blindness of Laying."
It's fun. It's a very good one.
Interesting one. I'm
it's a
excited
Christmas
to
one.
watch it. Christmas time. Maybe
Mhm.
we'll dress up.
Yeah. Maybe.
Tune in next week to find out. We'll catch
Mhm.
y'all on the flip side.
Bye,
See you
nephews.
later. It pierced my ear.
Oh, nice.
I
That
think
sweater
it's
looks good too.
think
You think it's infected?
Yeah, the sweater.
The sweater's infected.
Ear's fine.
It's got lice, bed bugs.